5G, it's the next big thing, right? In 2019, everybody was hyping up 5G. In 2020, people are still asking about 5G. In 2021, 2022, and so on, people are still going to be talking about 5G because it is the next big thing. I personally believe 2020 is going to be a great year for 5G as well. I think 5G is still at its early stages, and there's a lot of implementation and growth for 5G across the market. I believe this to be true for America and the world. In this video, we're going to talk about my top stocks for investing in 5G in 2020. These stocks are based on my analysis and are my personal opinion. I am in no way a professional advisor. Please do your own due diligence when it comes to investing in stocks. There are many 5G stocks to choose from in the market. The stocks that I picked are what I believe to be leaders in their industry, have the best chances to grow, and provide a diverse approach to investing in the 5G market. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new to this channel, welcome aboard. This is the We Are Investing, a group for the everyday investor. My name is Sean, and I'm the founder of the group. This group and this channel are founded on the idea of helping everyday investors achieve better returns and hopefully achieve that FIRE lifestyle a little bit quicker. For those of you that don't know, FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. Basically, what that means is to create enough cash flow that you can leave your job today and be okay, and enjoy retirement just a little bit earlier than the rest of the world. Your golden years might start 10 to 15 to 20 years before the average person. In addition to this channel, there is a Facebook group where we do share ideas amongst each other. A link will be provided in the video description on how you can join. Please do so if you find this at all interesting. The last thing that I ask, if you find this video at all helpful, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and please comment if you can. It goes a long way with the growth of this channel and helps me better serve you. With all that being said, let's jump right into the video. This video is going to be on what is 5G and what are my top stocks for 5G. Alright, so you guys are up and loaded on the computer. Things are going to get exciting. We're going to talk about 5G. To start off, we're going to talk about what is 5G. What you see right now is a little FAQ on 5G from Qualcomm. For those of you that don't know, Qualcomm is one of the leading producers of chips for the 4G and the 5G market. They've been around for a long time. They're a well-known stock, and a lot of YouTubers have been suggesting Qualcomm as one of the top stocks for investing in 5G. You'll see if they're one of my picks or not, but the screen right now is good just to let people know what 5G is. 5G stands for 5th generation. 4G obviously stood for 4th generation. In short, 5G is an improvement on 4G, and the improvements are significant. And I think 5G is that first step that we need to make as human beings to really advance our technology and expand on what we can do and what kind of services we can provide. So it's very crucial in the continued progress as a country, as a nation, and as a world. 1G was an analog voice, calling on the phone and whatnot. 2G, you started seeing that text message, that digital voice. 3G was like when iPhones first started, when that smartphone just began, when you were first able to use mobile data. And then 4G LTE is where we are today. A big improvement from 3G, but in my opinion, not the kind of improvement we're going to see from 4G to 5G. Continuing on that FAQ from Qualcomm, we get into the benefits, the economic impact of 5G, and the services that will be improved and progress with the implementation of 5G. To start, they talk about it being a platform for innovations. That's exactly what I said earlier. I think 5G is crucial in advancing our technology and the services that we can provide. A study that's being displayed on this Qualcomm FAQ. Please keep in mind that Qualcomm benefits greatly from the 5G market, so the numbers are going to be on the higher end, but they should still have some kind of backing, and I would take them with a grain of salt. But with that being said, 5G is going to have a huge impact on the market. There's no doubt about that. They're saying the full economic effect by 2035 across the world will be upwards to $12 trillion. That's a very large amount. Um, it's definitely going to be in the trillions. I don't know how much, and that's yet to be determined. Continuing on the economic impact, they're stating that 5G can support up to 22 million jobs at that 2035 year mark. Um, and they're saying that's more than one job for every person in Beijing, China. Getting into the services, and this is what I think is most important about 5G and why I think 5G is so important, are because of these services. The first service listed is enhanced mobile broadband. 5G will make our smartphones faster and better. They will improve experiences such as VR, AR, and one of the key things with 5G is lower latency. So they'll be able to communicate with each other, devices that is, at a quicker and more efficient rate, which is crucial when it comes to infrastructure such as smart cities and vehicles. Autonomous vehicles are going to have to connect with other parts of the roadway, the city, and even other vehicles. And 5G is going to be crucial in the development of autonomous vehicles or the implementation of autonomous vehicles. So I'm very bullish on the robo-taxis and autonomous vehicles in general. And with me being bullish on that, I kind of have to be bullish on 5G, because without 5G, I don't think there's a way for autonomous vehicles to succeed. There's a lot of communication that needs to happen between the vehicles and all the infrastructure, and it needs to be done at a quick and efficient rate in order to have a safe environment. Another thing is the Internet of Things. Everybody's talking about the Internet of Things. This is connecting everything in the world together. 5G is going to have a big impact on that as well. This photo here basically kind of goes over the increase or decrease, the positive impact, I should say, that 5G is going to have across the board. Key thing here that I think is decrease in latency 10 times, like I said, and then the experience throughput 10 times increase. All the other stuff is kind of very technical for me, and I don't completely understand it. But something a little bit more my style is this photo here. How long to download a 2-hour film? That's all. That's what we all want to know. How long is it going to take for me to download the Avengers on my phone? Well, with 4G, it'll take you 6 minutes if you have a good connection. If you don't, you're out of luck. With 5G, that time is going to be cut down to under 5 seconds, 3.6 seconds. By the time you hit download, you look the other way, it's going to be on your phone and you'll be ready to watch whatever you want to watch, which is going to be absolutely insane. And if that doesn't speak to the power of 5G, I don't know what does. Okay, so you know what 5G is, and you know the power 5G can have. Next, we need to talk about what kind of infrastructure and what kind of products are needed to roll out 5G. We're going to start with infrastructure. What you see here is a slide from American Tower. We might get into American Tower later if they hit my list. But anyways, let's just look at the graph, the photo. So you see a macro tower. That's a 4G cell tower. It's also used for 3G. This tower then has equipment on it that sends out the signal for 4G that then goes to your phone or wherever. And although 5G is much more powerful than 4G, the signal does not travel as far as 4G. So you need to implement a bunch of these small cells, as shown here. These small cells will then give you that 5G service that you're looking for. But because 5G does not travel as far, you're going to need a ton of these small cells. And companies that develop and install and construct these small cells are going to see a big increase in business. So that's one sector we're going to consider when talking about top 5G stocks. In addition to small cells or small towers or whatever you want to call them, other products and equipments are going to be needed in order to roll out 5G. The main one that everyone considers as a huge player in this market are chips. Chips will need to be able to process the 5G speed in order for you to actually experience what is available to you. So phones and other devices will be rolling out with 5G chips. Okay, so now you guys know what 5G is and what's needed to roll out 5G. So you guys are ready to talk about the top stocks, in my opinion, for 5G in the year of 2020. Now, all these stocks I consider to be long-term investments, so we're not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of the charts. My recommendation to you would be, if you liked any of these stocks, you have done your due diligence and you want to enter a position in any of these stocks, I would recommend waiting for the right buy opportunity. Look at the chart, find a level of support. Once you identify that level of support, enter a small position into the stock and continue to enter as more buying opportunities present themselves. These are long-term investments. You don't need to get in on any given day. You just need to keep an eye on them, put them on your watch list, and enter when appropriate. The stocks that I'm listing are not listed in any particular order. I am going to go from infrastructure to end user, and then I'm going to throw in a fun pick. The first stock on the list is American Tower, ticker symbol AMT. American Tower had a nice year. It was up 39.5%. In the 5-year chart, it's up 155%. So it has had continued growth, which is nice to see. American Tower is a REIT. They do offer a dividend. They've increased that dividend by 20%, and the CEO has been on record saying that they plan to increase that dividend 20% year after year. American Tower is in the business of owning and renting out cell tower space. So they own the land and they own the tower. And what they do is they rent to people like AT&T, Verizon, to put equipment on their cell phone towers that they are then able to use to provide service to you and I. Another great thing about American Tower is that they are not just in America. They are also in other countries. They're in South Korea, they're in Europe, and I think they're also in China. So they are growing internationally and organically, which is great to see. The top competitor for American Tower is Crown Castle. They are also in the business of cell phone towers. But Crown Castle is also in the business of fiber. So they have a little bit more of a market share when it comes to that regard. However, I am a fan of American Tower because of the service that they provide, and because they are outside of the United States, and because of their continued increase in dividend. For American Tower, I would look to see a good entry point. I would identify a level of support and then buy in time after time. The next stock on the list is Skyworks, ticker symbol SWKS. Skyworks is a semiconductor company. They produce chips for 5G. Skyworks in the year has grown 59.2%. They had a killer year. When you look at the 5-year chart, Skyworks has grown 42%. So they had their up and downs, and they are at a high right now, as you can see in the graph. But don't let that discourage you, because I think Skyworks is a great company and is a long-term play. The top competitor for Skyworks is Qualcomm. The reasons why I'm not picking Qualcomm over Skyworks is because Skyworks has a better balance sheet. Skyworks has less cloud over their head. Qualcomm is in current litigation with the FCC, just got out of trial with Apple, and has been trading sideways for a very long time. I prefer Skyworks. I think they're a better managed company, and I think they have more potential. Skyworks sells chips to many different companies. Samsung and Apple being the top in the smartphone industry, but then they also sell chips to automotive makers like Tesla, Ford, GM. The list goes on and on. Over here on this slide, you can kind of see some of the companies that Skyworks invests or sells to. I just got to get to it. So you have Nokia, Philips, Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Tesla, Mercedes, Volvo, BMW, GM, and a ton more. Audi. So many
car makers use Skyworks chips. So, like I said earlier, I think 5G is going to be very important when it comes to autonomous vehicles. So, not only is this company going to get in on the 5G when it comes to smartphones, it's also going to get in on the 5G when it comes to autonomous vehicles, which I really, really like. Okay, stocks 1 and 2 were infrastructure plays. Stock 1 was cell phone towers. Stock 2 was chips. Stock 3 is Verizon. Verizon is a service provider. Verizon will need cell phone towers from stock 1. They will also need chips from stock 2. So stock 1 and 2 also impact Verizon, and Verizon relies on those stocks. But Verizon is a service provider, and they should expect increased revenues from 5G. Verizon and AT&T are the two most talked about stocks when it comes to investing in 5G in a service provider. Verizon is a better option to me because I think it's less risky and it has more options to make money off of 5G, in my personal opinion. Looking at the chart, in 5 years, it's grown 26%. There is a 3.97 dividend yield, so that you will get dividend from investing in this stock, which is always nice. The 1-year increase for Verizon is 6.76%. And it looks like it's at a level of support now, or it's heading towards one. So this is a stock I would add to my watch list if interested, and I would consider buying it soon if a level of support identifies itself. The biggest thing with Verizon is that they are the first to strike 5G. They have test markets set up in Indianapolis, Houston, LA, and Sacramento, and they will be the first to provide 5G to its customers in the United States. I think that speaks volumes to what they think 5G will do, and I'm very glad that they are going to be the first ones to provide this kind of service. They are setting the way for the market, and if I'm going to pick any service provider as a 5G play, Verizon is my option. The end user play is Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. Apple is a huge company when it comes to selling smartphones and other products, and they also have some services. Apple stands to benefit from 5G because once 5G rolls out and it's available, everyone's going to want to upgrade their phones. iPhone sales have been lagging within the last couple years because, to be honest, there's not that much of an improvement from generation to generation. A way that Apple's been negating that loss is they've been increasing their phone prices. So although less phones are being sold, they're making about the same amount of money. Another key thing with Apple, or not key thing, another nice thing with Apple are the AirPods. They've been selling really well, and they're almost like a niche within Apple that's making them a lot of money. Apple's also investing in services, streaming services. They're gonna have competition to Disney Plus and Netflix with their Apple streaming. So that's another good thing when it comes to Apple. The risk with Apple is its current price and where it stands compared to the year and other years. As you can see in the chart, the 1 year Apple has gained 90%. In the 5 year, Apple has gained 169%. Looking at the chart for Apple, you see that it's very bullish and it's gone up a lot. And it hasn't really come down, so we don't know what the level of support really is. All we can do is look at Apple and try to evaluate whether or not it's overvalued right now and whether or not there is some 5G play to be included in this current valuation. Price targets for Apple as of late have been kind of all over the board. Some are hold, some are buy. There's not really many sell ratings, which is good. The most recent price target of $400 was provided by the brokerage Wedbush on February 3rd. I'm filming this video on February 4th, so that was a day ago. There is an interview with the owner of Wedbush talking about his valuation for Apple and why it's at the $400 price target. He's basically saying that the market is undervaluing the impact 5G will have. He's calling it the 5G super cycle. He thinks that when 5G is released, the amount of iPhones that will be sold from Apple is far more than estimated, and that Apple's play on services will increase because of 5G. Um, I I tend to agree with him on this. I do think that people are not really buying new phones today because there's not that um, big of an increase from generation to generation. I currently have an S8, so I'm 2 generations old, and I don't plan on getting rid of it until 5G comes out. So I think there's a lot of people in my shoes that once 5G comes out, they're going to buy the next generation. And Apple customers are very loyal to their to that company, so they never leave, and it's an end-to-end control. So it's very well for that company. So out of all the end users, when it's Apple, Samsung, or Google, I think Apple will have the biggest jump because of 5G, putting it in my top 5G stocks for 2020. Stock 1 and Stock 2 were both infrastructure and product plays. The first stock was American Tower, and they provided cell towers. The second stock was Skyworks, and they provide chips. The third stock was a service play, Verizon, they provide a service. The fourth stock was an end user in Apple when they provide you your cell phone or any other 5G device. The fifth stock is an indirect way of investing in the 5G market. That stock is Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT. The reason why I'm considering this an indirect play is because of their cloud computing, which I think is going to be more and more important as we evolve our technology and roll out 5G. The stock is kind of high right now. It is coming off of good earnings. On the year, they're up 75%. The 5-year return is 345% or something like that. They have a price to earnings ratio of 29.6, so it is pricey, and they have a dividend yield of 1.37. For Microsoft, I wouldn't get in right now, but I would definitely add this stock to your watch list for a potential long-term investment when it comes to 5G and cloud computing.
Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's been a pleasure. Like I said earlier, please subscribe, like, and comment if you found this video at all helpful, or if you want to follow for more content when it comes to investing. With all that being said, this is We Are Investing, a group for your everyday investor, and together we are invincible.